Shalom, Shalom. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and has set up a horn of salvation for us and the house of his servant David, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Right? That's the book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 68. But I want to give all praise, glory, and honor be to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Um, I want to say shalom to the brothers for joining. Shalom to the family for watching, tuning in live. Shalom to those who will tune in later, even after the live is over with. But most high willing, in this video, you'll be edified. Today is another beautiful Wisdom Wednesday, and the topic, speaks for itself. No Diddy, right? And we're not going too in depth into the case and the mindset of, what I'm saying, Sean Puffy Combs, right? But this is just going to show how the same spirits that are on the earth now are the same spirits that have been on the earth since the beginning of time. Well, since sin was brought into the world through the fall of who we know as the Adamites, right? But uh, with that being said, I'm not gonna dwell too much on the sidebars. If you can pull that, whatever brother sharing their screen, can pull that first precept, we can get right into this thing, man, for the sake of time for our people. If a brother, whoever not sharing, if the brother can read who's not sharing their screen, it would be much appreciated.
First Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?
Mm-hmm.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
So before we go to the next verse, the very first thing it mentioned was fornicators. Now, dang, I meant to ask you to do this. I'm Salakia. Brother Denal, you sharing your screen. Could you go to the Greek for the word fornicators right there, right? In the Blue Letter Bible, if at all possible. Salakia, I meant to ask you to do this when we was in the back chat.
Let me see.
But the first thing, while the brother is pulling that up in the Greek, right? The first thing it mentions is neither fornicators, right? Because we know that fornication is one of them sins that Paul says, hey, man, that's low key the worst kind, to sin against yourself, right? Now, breaking the law in general, right? I think it mentions in Proverbs, he that sins against me wrongeth his own soul, roughly paraphrasing. But I think that's in the book of Proverbs, chapter 30, if I'm not mistaken. But
which word you want?
Fornicators. But the reason I want to define this word is just to give people a better understanding of what is fornicating, or what is a fornicator according to, as defined by the biblical scholars in the Greek, right? Because we know majority of the New Testament was written in Greek. So we just want to use this for scholarship purposes.
Come. Let me pull this up.
Con. So can you scroll up? Yeah. Scroll up a little bit.
Hold on, I'll go back real quick just so people can know where we at. We're
Right.
fornicators. G4205.
It's the word pornos, right? So if any of you didn't know, fornication, right, or the word that you use today that is known today in the world, pornography, right, goes back to this word, pornos, in the Greek, right? Let's read the definition or the outline of biblical usage for this word, right? What does it say right there? Outline of biblical usage. A, number one, it says a man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire. 2, a male prostitute. Or B, a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator, right? So all of these things make you a fornicator. And when it says man, it applies to women too, right? It applies to women too. But again, we have to understand the reason that I want to go to this definition is to just show people the scholarship behind of um what better way can I say that? To show people, when defining words in the scripture, sometimes it helps you understand what it's saying, what the text is saying, right? So fornicators cannot enter into the kingdom. People who practice pornography, right? Fornication. Those are fornicators. They can't enter into the kingdom. Why am I mentioning that? Well, if you are watching this video, you would have seen the title. It's called No Diddy. Now, brother, I did send you an email. Um, did you check that out? That email that I sent? It was a short clip of a video that went into something about the brother's case.
Let me see.
I don't know if it'll allow you to share it. That's why I just sent it. If you can't share it, then that's cool. But
Let's see.
yeah, it's a video going into, I guess, the case of Sean Combs, right? Who we know is P. Diddy or Puff Daddy, right? If you could share that with the people real quick, just so we can get an understanding of where I'm coming from when I say no Diddy, right?
See if I can open this up a little bit.
Con.
You know, ready.
It's on you.
Announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
Y'all really believe a system that...
Con. Now you can stop that real quick. You can exit out of that, right? Because that goes into our brother Larry Johnson's understanding, or he's going to give his exhortation or explanation of the situation at hand. But what I wanted to show, right, fair use, what I wanted to show was the original part of the original ABC interview or breaking news. I guess you could say, what is it called? A media conference or press release, whatever. But they were going into the accounts that they were going to charge P. Diddy for. They are going to charge P. Diddy for, or looking to charge P. Diddy with, right? But nonetheless, again, I wanted that to go into what we just read, 1 Corinthians 6:9, where it talks about fornicators. And the Greek word for fornicators or fornication would be pornos, right? And again, that's where you link up your modern day pornography. If you heard what the gentleman that was reading off the list of charges was saying, he was saying that P. Diddy would have these people hold them against their will to perform his sexual desires, right? So the reason that we're going into all of this is because, again, we have to understand what no Diddy really means, right? Don't mean nothing gay, even though he's accused of being homosexual too, right? But at the same time, we got to remember that, hey, look, ain't no Diddy gonna enter into the kingdom, right? If you out here living like P. Diddy, you're not gonna enter into the kingdom. If you out here living to have your sexual desires fulfilled, you will not enter into the kingdom. If you out here loving pornography, you're not gonna enter into the kingdom. It's just that plain and simple. So when I'm saying no Diddy, I'm not using it to be jokey, right? Even though it is used as a joke, right? To say, oh, no gay, no gay. But I'm saying that to say that, listen, if you out here living a lifestyle similar to P. Diddy, you ain't getting into the kingdom, man. And there's accounts that we're going to pull that don't exactly correlate with 1 Corinthians 6:9 in particular, but they're along the same lines of what happens when brothers get overcome with these sexual temptations, right? But before we go to any account, let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, and I want to say verse number 4 real quick. We're going to read that, and then we're going to pull up some accounts. Our job is to educate the people according to what thus saith the Lord is, right? So at every time, you know, it's always expedient for us to make these parallels, right? Because at the end of the day, right, we have a job to do, and our job is to warn the people. Our job is to spread the message, and our job is to make the Bible make sense to people who may not understand it that much. So hopefully we can do that every time we get on here, right? But let's read this. This is Brother Azrael, if you could start at verse number 3.
The book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 3.
Salakia, start at verse number 1.
Starting at verse number 1. Furthermore, then we beseech you, brethren, and exhort you by the Lord Jesus, that as ye have received of us how ye ought to walk and to please God, so ye would abound more and more.
Right. So we got to remember that our life is solely just to please the Most High God. That's Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Now let's keep reading.
Verse 2. For you know what commandments we gave you by the Lord Jesus.
Right.
For
Keep
this,
reading.
for this is the will of God, even your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication.
You should abstain from fornication, man. We got to abstain from this sexual, immoral, sexual, perverse lifestyle of living, because we see that in the end, it doesn't work out for us well. This man, P. Diddy, has been famous and he's had money. He's been in the spotlight for longer than I've been alive, right? But I will say one thing. Fame is a terrible thing to a lot of niggas. And sorry for you using that N-word like that, but I'm not speaking to the average brother. I'm just saying that we have a brother that says that word, the N-word, when he's fed up with the actions of some of our people, because that's what they begin to act like, that word, ignorant folk. But fame is having money, having fame is some of the worst thing that could happen to our people, right? That's why you hear brothers say sometimes they don't pray for $1 million. They would never pray for 10 million. Or if they had $10 million, they low-key wouldn't even want it, because with money comes problems. And if anybody should know that, it should be Puff Daddy, because he had a song with Bad Boy Records called More Money, More Problems. More money comes more problems, man. Money creates situations where people begin to love money so much, and it makes them do things that are crazy. They love to keep their money so much that they'll pay people to do these perverse sexual actions and have them sign non-disclosure agreements, give them some hush money, and say, don't say nothing because I don't want you to mess my money up. But I want to be a freakazoid, have over 700 bottles of baby oil in my house, right? And I don't know how true this report is, right? I'm not saying this is true or not, so I'm not going to bear false witness. But there was a picture of them saying that they recovered some other sexual explicit items from his home. I'm not going to say what they were. You'll just see that picture and you'll put 2 and 2 together. But nonetheless, again, this is what happens when we have this spirit of sexual immorality on us, this spirit of pornography on us, or fornication, right? Because we begin to give ourselves over to these sexual desires, and we want to fulfill these sexual desires so bad it freaks us out. It literally makes us freakazoids, right? Let's read verse number 4.
Verse number 4. That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
Right. We just gotta have that sexual discipline. Keep reading though.
Verse 5. Not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not God.
Read verse 6.
Verse 6. That no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter, because that the Lord is an avenger of all such, as we also have forewarned you and testified.
We just literally forewarned you, reading 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, saying that no fornicator shall enter into the kingdom. So we got to remove the spirit of fornication from within us. We got to stop thinking that it's okay to be sexually liberated. It's okay to be sexually perverse, right? It's okay to be a freak. You know what I'm saying? Because It's literally a spirit that hops on people to make them want to record themselves, have sex, and put it on social media. It's literally a spirit that makes you want to fulfill these, I guess you could say, these disgusting sexual desires that men have, you know? So we have to remove this spirit from within us, right? And that applies to physical and spiritual, right? Because fornication is also a spiritual aspect too. It's not just physical, right? Matter of fact, you're spiritually fornicating by serving gods of, you know what I'm saying, sexual perversion, when you know that the Most High God is your God, and he told you, you got to follow these laws, and you don't follow those laws. So through your physical action, you're committing spiritual fornication. Or you can say it vice versa, through your spirit choosing to fornicate, through you choosing to fornicate spiritually, it'll lead you to fornicating physically, you know, whichever way you want to spin the block. I'm saying it the same way though. At the end of the day, man, we got to stop with this sexual perversion because it never works out in our favor, right? Now, I'm gonna twist this a little bit. This is where I'm about to go. Can you bring up the book of First Esdras chapter 4? First Esdras chapter 4, and we're gonna start at verse number 1. I'm gonna flip it a little bit, right? Because we were just talking about fornication, sexual immorality, right? We were talking about how we got to get the spirit of fornication from off of us, right? This perverse actions, wanting to be a freak, wanting to be freaked out, wanting to be what they call it nowadays on the internet, slutted out, right? We got to stop with this, man. We got to continue to work on ourselves, continue to examine ourselves, and continue to see where we fail in these areas of our lives, especially sex, and we got to remove this stuff. Because again, no Diddy will enter into the kingdom, right? So let's read this. First Esdras starting at verse number 4. No, not verse number 1. Wait, scroll down. Nah, keep scrolling. Right, start at verse 13.
First Esdras. Which chapter is this?
4.
4 and 13. The first Esdras chapter 4, starting at verse 13. Then the Lord, who had spoken of women and of the truth, then the third who had spoken of women and the truth, this was Zerubbabel, began to speak. 14. O ye men, it is not the great king nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women?
So they're talking about the things that rule over men, right? So the first person gave their example of I think it was wine, right? The second person gave his example that it was the king. Now the third person is saying it's women. So let's read.
Right, verse 15. Women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by the sea and land. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards from whence the wine cometh.
Right. Keep reading.
These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be.
Right. It is not good that man should be alone. Lo, therefore I will make a helpmeet unto him. That's what women was created for. The necessity to help a man. The Lord said it was not good that men should be alone, so he created a woman. And that is why this is true. Without women, it would be hard for men to be. Matter of fact, without women, men cannot be at all. Right? Because they birth us. They make our clothes. Right? All of these things that you're reading about the characteristics of women is why this third person is saying that women rule over men. But let's read verse 18.
Verse 18. Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver, or any other goodly thing, Do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty?
Man, you'll be a liar. You would be a liar as a man to tell me that you never, ever, ever did anything in your life to please a woman, right? Whether it be giving her money, whether it be taking her out on a date, whether it be buying her something nice. You will be a liar to me as a man if you said you never done anything for solely wanting to please a woman. Brothers do it now that are married. You know, you got to. It ain't nothing wrong with wanting to please a lady, man. Contrary to popular belief. I don't even think that's a popular belief, but at the end of the day, man, you never, ever, ever can tell me as a man you've never done anything to please a woman. The brother in the chat that said never, I know he telling the story because at the end of the day, we talking to this brother and he's giving us some examples that I'm not going to say on camera, but nonetheless, we have to remember that women are doing all of these things. These are all characteristics that we have that women do. So let's scroll down. Matter of fact, go to verse 20.
Verse 20, a man leaveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife.
Right. So a man leaves his father and his mother, like it tells us in Genesis to do. Keep reading.
He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country.
Right. So we always have to keep in mind that when it comes to account of women, man, everything else kind of go out the window, right? Keep reading.
21. Salakia 22. By this also ye must know that women have dominion over you. Do you not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman?
Khan, keep reading.
Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers, and looketh upon a lion and goeth in darkness. And when he has stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love.
Khan. So everything that a man does is literally for women. Now, granted, again, this is being flipped from going from fornication to talk about women. We're going to tie it back together in a minute. But right now, we're exhorting on why the women rules over the men to an extent. Because a lot of what you see in today's time is men doing things solely to please their women, right? And brothers can deny it all they want to, right? But if you want a submissive woman, you're going to have to do stuff for her to please her, to make her job as a submissive woman easier on you. Like I said it before in an example in a lesson, but if you're a brother who wants your wife to cook, right? She got to cook all the food for your house. If she tell you, hey, I need you to go to the store to get so-and-so, what you going to do? You're going to go to the store. Why? Because you want to eat, because she cooks all your meals, right? There's nothing wrong with saying that you do things for the sake of making your woman's job easier, as her job is to be a helpmeet unto you. So by you making her job easier, essentially is helping her be better for you to be a helpmeet. But at the same time, there's that left-hand side where brothers are out here robbing, stealing, and killing for the sake of women, right? Let's keep reading though.
Verse 25. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than the father or mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
Read that again.
Many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
Uh-huh.
And become servants for their sakes.
Right. There's many men who have ran out of their wits for women, right? So a lot of men are becoming servants unto these women, right? Because again, women does all these things. We can't love a woman. We can't love our mother and father more than we love our wives, or what they call it in today's time, our girlfriends, right? Because our girlfriends are giving us, you know what I'm saying, what the Lord gave her between her legs. It would be hard for me to deny my wife just for the sake of my mama wants to talk to me for 5 seconds, but my wife calling me into the bedroom. You know, that's the truth. Brothers know it. Brothers can deny it, But again, all of this is wisdom going into what we're going to tie this into, right? Read verse 27.
27. Many also have perished, have erred and
Have
sinned,
what?
have perished, have erred and sinned for women.
Right. So remember this verse right here. 1 Esdras 4:27. Many have perished, erred, and sinned for women. Right. Now let's go to the book real quick of Susanna chapter 1. Well, Susanna is, yeah, it's only one chapter. So let's go to the book of Susanna, and we're going to start at verse 1.
Susanna, verse number 1. There dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Chelcias, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord.
Right. So Susanna was a fair woman, one that feared the Lord. Right. Now let's jump down to verse number 6. Wait, start at verse 7. So
Susanna, verse 7. Now, when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk. Verse 8. And the two elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her.
Listen, the woman was beautiful, and you got old men looking at this woman like, God, dog, boy, she married Joachim lucky, boy, because if that were me, boy, you know, and they staring at this woman, right? Let's keep reading, though. What they do?
Con, I wanted to also say, too, you know, this ain't nothing new under the sun. You know, you can see brothers at work, man, old and young. They'll, you know, they know it like clockwork, a woman's routine. It could be somebody in HR. It could be somebody, you know, that, you know, works at the job that they work at. And they gonna, you know, they gonna take a break when she take a break. They gonna watch her walk in from her car. They gonna, you know what I'm saying? They know her schedule. And that's what these two older men was doing to Susanna. They peeped that at this time every day she walks into her husband's garden. And it says, you know, every single day their lust was inflamed. And that's what you see with these men nowadays and working, man, you know. Boy, she thick, boy. You know, look, boy, you see them pants she had on, you see them jeans, she working it, you know, that lust be inflamed. So that the same thing happens to you know, men today, right? Verse 9 says, and they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments.
Hey, Khan, right there where it says, and turned away their eyes, man. Hey, look, he that turned away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers shall be an abomination, right? The law tells us, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thy neighbor's ass, thy neighbor's mansion, whatever. Nothing of our neighbors we should covet. But they was like, man, forget that. Forget it. So let's keep reading.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when lust comes over to you, man, it's like a blindness too, man.
Right.
Everything go out the window. You know,
right.
You only think about one thing. And that's why it's good for brothers to, you know, filter their social medias, because you can get easily lost in algorithms and posts. And before you know it, man, you spending time looking at something you're not supposed to, and you done forgot about the law, statutes, and commandments in that moment. Now, 15 minutes done went by, and you done turn your eyes from looking towards heaven. You know what I'm saying? That's how sneaky it is if that lust perverts your mind. Verse 10, and albeit they both were wounded with her love, yet durst not one show another his grief. Verse 11.
Man.
Or go ahead.
No, keep reading, and I'll save it.
Verse 11. For they were ashamed to declare their lust, that they desired to have to do with her.
Keep reading.
Verse 12. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her.
Just like the brother Azrael just said, you see that nowadays when you got people who work with women that they find attractive, man, it's like the brother said, it's like clockwork. They know their schedule, right? They know their schedule. They know what time they come in, what time they get off, right? They can tell if a brother's staring hard enough, hell, he can tell what kind of underwear she wearing every day of the week. Monday she like to wear pink drawers. Tuesday she like to wear this. And on Friday she like to wear a thong because it's the weekend. She feeling like it's been cases like that before in real life, right? And if you don't believe me, just look at P. Diddy's case. If you don't think that there's freaks out here like that, then there are, and you need to stop being so naive. Let's keep reading.
Hey, side note too, for the women, just know that men are very observative, right? That's why when we come into the truth and we want our women to dress modestly and shamefaced, it's for a reason, man. Being around men, we know men get diabolically scientific when it comes to their lust. Anything can turn a man on, man, whether that be the small of your back, whether that be the way your pants are gripping you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anything, the slightest thing can turn a man on. And so that's why we want our women to dress modestly. And, coming from a woman's standpoint, I understand that y'all don't understand it or get it because you guys are thinking like a woman. But when a man thinks like a man, right, we know what stands out to other men. And we're not going to be naive for y'all. We're going to let y'all know, right? And that's why y'all should cover up, man, because it gets deep. But verse 13. Well, 13. And the one said to the other, "Let us now go home, for it is dinner time." Verse 14. So when they were gone out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that, they had asked one another the cause. They acknowledged their lust. Then appointed they a time both together when they might find her alone.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like they're plotting on this woman, man. They're plotting on this woman because this woman is attractive. They know she's married. They know she fears the Lord. But yet their love for her, because she's so beautiful, was so strong. Like the brother said, they're just giving into a spirit of blindness, right? They're not even trying to understand the just judgments of the Lord. They just trying to figure out how to get this feel in with this girl because this girl is so bad, bro. Let's keep reading though.
Verse 15. And it fell out as they watched the fit time. She went in as before with 2 maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot.
Now, this is similar to the same story, right? I'm not even going to pull up the account for the sake of time, but again, it's similar with the same thing with David and Bathsheba. David's seen this woman bathing, right? And it's like, God, dog, who that? She bad. Let me call to her. He called to her, knew she was married, slept with her, got her pregnant, and had her husband killed in war, right? For a woman. Now, David is king over Israel at this point. And for a woman, he sinned. That's just like what it read in 1 Ezra 4:27. That's why we should keep that in mind. Many have perished, erred, and sinned, all because of a woman, right? Now, let's keep reading this account.
Verse 16. And there was nobody there save the 2 elders that had hid themselves and watched her. Then she said to her maids, "Bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden doors, that I may wash me."
So, man, they planned this perfectly. They watched her day to day. They got her schedule down to a pat. Now it's go time. Now let's keep reading.
And I want to say too, man, women be careful when you guys are going places by yourself. It could be to the gym. Hey, it's brothers in the gym that stay in the gym all day, and they waiting for you to come in. You know what I'm saying? They got a gym crush on you. They waiting for you to come in, man, and they staring at you, from top to bottom. Also, brothers might feel some type of way with you being out by yourself. And for you women that have kids, it's kind of helpful when you do go out with your kid, just because it's going to make somebody that's going to do something evil like this right, kind of hesitate. Oh, should I do it? She got some kids with her or whatever. It's gonna be too much of a scene, right? So just know if you go in places by yourself, not saying that Susanna's in the wrong in this story, but if you go places by yourself, just know that there are weird men out there.
Also, man, I know you just said Susanna's not to blame, but and that's the difference between men and women. Men are natural protectors, right? Men typically have their head on a swivel, right? So women, man, y'all be circumspect in your doings and your whereabouts, right? If you leave from somewhere, make sure you check your surroundings. I'm not even just talking about the cliche social media post where watch if somebody leaves something on your car door handle. No, I'm talking about when you get in your car, man, make sure nobody following you, right? When you do something, if you got to bend down to pick something up, make sure nobody's staring at you, right? So little things like that, right? I know sometimes it be doing mundane, everyday tasks, but just like the brothers have been going in, right? It's important for you to say circumspect because just like in this, I'm sure Susanna just thought it was just another day. She was washing off, getting clean, and didn't know she had perverts looking at her, right? Same thing for ladies nowadays, right? Be circumspect in your doings.
Con, man. Con. Now let's keep reading on this because we're gonna get the full understanding shortly. But let's keep reading.
Verse 18, and they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at privy doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders because they were hid. Now, when the maids were gone forth, the two elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, Behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us and lie with us.
Right. Hey, remember what we read first, man. No fornicator shall enter into the kingdom. Right. A fornicator, adultery is a form of fornication, because this would be adultery if this woman were to say, "Well, dang, I am trapped in here with y'all, and no one can see us, and I don't want to be lied on for the public's sake. So, okay, I guess we can do it." You know, right? But what does the law say? Right? What does the law say? Leviticus 20 and 10, Exodus chapter 20 and verse number I want to say that's 14 or 15, right? All of these things are written for our learning, right? And we don't give ear to the law once we're blinded by, again, the spirit of fornication, the spirit that wants us to make our bodies sexually perverse for the sake of I'm in love with a married woman. That doesn't even sound right, right? So let's keep reading. What does she do?
Gone. If thou wilt not, Salaki, behold, Salak, if thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away the maids from thee. Then, then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is the death unto me. And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it than to sin in the sight of the Lord.
Right. So Susanna is standing bold for the word of the Lord. Now, we're not going to read this whole chapter and what happened because I don't want to get off the topic of discussion. What you see now is what we're using as an example to show how men will run out of their wits for women. They will literally sin and err all because of a woman's beauty, right? Right? Again, those fornicators, that's a form of fornication, wanting to sleep with another man's wife. To the point where it's just like you feel like, well, if you don't do it, I'm gonna lie on you. What does the law say about bearing false witness? What does Leviticus 19 and 11 say? Right? It's so many things, just judgments in the laws of God that we tend to not want to pay attention to when it's not convenient for us to, because the lust of our flesh wants us to take over, right? And it's no different from brothers when you at home now currently, you're scrolling on your phone in your pastime, and then like the brother said, you see something on social media, it catches your attention. Now you sitting up here looking at stuff you shouldn't be looking at, right? Especially there's brothers in the truth who have openly admitted that they struggle with pornography. That demon is looking for any given chance to hop right back on you, to make you fall back into that same temptation, them same spells, that same sin. And all it is because you see a beautiful woman performing sexual actions and your heart is desiring to have that woman. It's the same reason why the brother P. Diddy is in the situation he's in now. Because rumor has it he fooled with women and men. But nonetheless, it's still the same. Homosexuality is an abomination according to the law of God, right? Leviticus 20 and 13, Leviticus 18 and 22. It's so many precepts that you can go to cover about the things that this brother did were wrong, right? But again, these spirits are not only on Diddy, they were on men of old, and they're on other men today. Somebody who makes porn as an actor, right, or a porn actress, an adult film actor or actress, they're no better than P. Diddy, right? People think P. Diddy is perverse. P. Diddy really is, in my opinion, I say he's the scapegoat in this situation. Because I believe that there is somebody behind this that is more powerful and mightier than he. Now, he could be in his own right performing these actions to his own will. I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you take things face value, but you got to understand that there's something deeper that's going on. And with his spirit, yeah, there will be something deeper going on, because as a grown man, having that many bottles of baby oil in your house is absurd. I don't even got that many bottles of lotion or that many rolls of toilet tissue, let alone baby oil.
Yeah, I was watching an interview with Charleston White, and he was pretty much saying the question arose. I'll send it to you guys after we get off live, but the question arose: do you think everybody that makes over 10 million is wicked? And Charleston was saying, yeah, man, because at that point you become your own god. And he said, because I'll be good with about 5 million, but anything over 5 million, I'm donating it to the homeless, and I'm giving it away for charity because I don't know what I would do with that much money. I don't know what type of fantasies would unlock in my mind if I had that much type of money. Yeah. He was like, yeah. Those people that get up there, man, once you get to a point in life where, you can pay for anything you want, he said that's when it gets scary because you're never satisfied. You go from being with one partner to having 2 or 3 partners a night, and it becomes normal. And so now your normal is not normal, and it just gets worse from there. But like the brother Yeshai is saying, man, these people like Diddy and stuff like that, man, it almost gets to a point to where they can't control how perverted they get, right? And then the perversion, like it says that these 2 elders in the book of Susanna, it says they perverted their own minds. It gets to a point to where it's no turning back, man, and stuff that just seems out the way to us becomes very normal to them. So when people talking about the Diddy parties and stuff like that, man, it's normal to Diddy. It's normal that he's throwing them parties. It's normal that everybody's acting normal around him, right? And it's sad, but there's a whole part of Babylon that people have not seen. You know what I'm saying? Because they do a good job of keeping it under wraps, just like these 2 elders did. They wait till the doors are closed and there's no cameras there, right? But it happens all the time.
And you got to think, bro. You gotta use your head. Again, there is more that how do I say it? There is more that you could go into when you're dealing with, sexual perversion and stuff like that. But you always just got to keep in perspective the simplest of things, man. Sometimes, like you mentioned, when you have certain fantasies and you have a certain amount of money that doesn't prevent you from having that come to realization, is no limits, right? Ain't no safety on that Glock at that point, If you could pull up the book, Salaki, if you could pull up the book of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 17. Con. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 17. And it says, all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. Right? So again, all bread, you know, to a whoremongering man, hey, look, if there's not anything that he can't have, he'll take it. You know what I'm saying? All bread, whether it be bread that's of the same loaf, or whether it be, you know what I'm saying, like the feminine bread, you know, the sweet bread, right? And if you got ears to hear, you'll get what I'm saying with those two examples. But all bread is sweet to a whoremonger, man. He gonna eat every ounce of bread he can get. That's why you got a situation like with P. Diddy, man. He eating both sides of the bread. He's eating the top bread and the bottom bread. If you get what I'm saying, read between the lines, right? And he's not stopping. Why? Because, well, he can't do nothing at this particular moment now. But again, when you have so much money, you have so much fame, man, you kind of run out of your wits, right? Whether it been for women, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you kind of run out of your wits, bro. And that's why we read First Esdras. That's why we led with 1 Corinthians 6:9 to remind ourselves that no Diddy. You know, you can't get into the kingdom living a Diddy lifestyle, man. There's various laws and other things that we could go into, but for the sake of time, we're not going to go into it, only because, you know, I know it's getting late. Brothers got to work. But I think that there's more that we're going to uncover when we do another part to this lesson, and we're going to go into more detail about, you know, living that perverse lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, our people need to understand we don't get on here to just, I guess you could say, dissect everybody's lives on a daily basis. No, we get on here to talk about the truth of the scriptures and how they apply to our lives on a daily basis, right? My job ain't to come hate on P. Diddy and his money. My job is to come share and let brothers and sisters know this is why you should not be like this man. Let his life be an example that you don't have to do the same thing, even if you're somebody with millions, right? Even if you're somebody with hundreds of thousands. It's brothers living the P. Diddy lifestyle that could be in the truth. Who knows? We don't know a lot of brothers and sisters, you know? So I'm going to hope and pray that a lot of this wisdom that's been going forth from the brothers, man, and from the scriptures that we read can sup with some brothers and sisters' spirits and let them know that you just got to understand the effect that certain spirits have over your life, right? And you don't want to be someone that's given over to a strong delusion because you fail to possess your vessel, like it talks about in 1 Thessalonians 4, right? We got one more precept I'm going to read, and we can close on this. Can we go to the book of Revelation, chapter 22, in verse 15? There was more we were supposed to go into, but again, it's getting kind of late. So I think I'll probably do another lesson to this, like a part 2, and just title it different, right? And then go into more detail about, you know, sexual perversion and, you know, living a fornicated or a pornography-based lifestyle, man. Everybody talks about plant-based. Everybody talks about, you know, meat-based diet, all this diet. Some people are living sex-based lifestyles. They have a sex-based diet. And that's a spirit that you don't want to have on you, especially when you're trying to set yourself apart from the world, right? But let's read this. Wait. Yeah, Con. Let's read this. Revelation 22, 14 and 15.
Book of Revelation, chapter 22, verses 14. Blessed are they that do the commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Whosoever loveth and maketh a lie will not enter into the kingdom, man. Idolaters, whoremongers, the word we just used. Whoremongers. You're a whoremonger, man. Hey, look, you're going to do any and everything that you can do. You're going to eat everything that you can. Why? Because you can, especially if you're somebody with money.
You somebody with money and status, you get a dumb broad, a woman who don't know, have no true wherewithal, and she's willing to make a few dollars, man, she'll make it holler. Same thing with men. If you can have your way with men in this industry for the sake of dominance and power, right? And for the sake of butt breaking, making people know that you on top, hey, you'll do it. And that's what we gotta be mindful of in these last days, man. Just the spirit of sexual perversion, right? Giving ourselves over to fornication, giving ourselves over to pornography, which is again fornication, giving ourselves over to certain spirits that seduces us to do things that are against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. We have to do away with all these things, right? So we'll revisit this topic. Most High willing, man, we'll probably knock it out someday this week. Do a quick part 2, going into more, bringing out more scripture and giving some more examples, just to give our people more edification on how to handle these situations and deal with these spirits. And if you're somebody who has this spirit on you, this spirit of porn, you like to watch porn in your spare time, right? You gotta kind of, you know, fast and pray this thing off of you, because certain spirits don't leave you but by fasting and prayer. So you got to pray and fast this spirit off you. I know we in the season of atonement, but again, like brothers say, atonement isn't the only time of year you should be remorseful for your sins, right? You commit iniquity on the 3 weeks after, you know what I'm saying, Pentecost. Don't just feel like, oh, only around atonement is where you should feel bad for it. You know, we need to have a godly sorrow each and every day of our lives for the things that we've done before this knowledge and the things that you may commit ignorantly in this knowledge, right? But with that, brothers have anything to add on to this? Well, Khan. So yeah, we'll do a part 2 to this, but that's all we got for tonight. We'll probably get on here a little earlier next time, just to go into more detail about, you know, the topic of no Diddy, right? But this has been Wisdom Wednesday with Brother Yeshaya, Brother Danal, and Azrael from the Hopeful Elect, and we want to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God, and we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Hasta mañana.